Hey everybody, welcome back to Football Talk with Vinny. In today's video, we're going to go over the Week 16 Power Rankings. Before Week 15, I did not do the Power Rankings video. I actually recorded it, just did not edit it in time with Christmas and the holidays. Obviously, just got a little busy, but obviously now for Week 16, we're back and ready to record a video. So again, very quickly, let me go over the bottom teams. Same four, the Jags, Lions, Texans, Jets at the bottom four. I did swap the next two. We're gonna have the Giants at 28 and the Bears at 27. At 26, we're gonna have the Carolina Panthers. And at 25, we're gonna have the Seattle Seahawks. Those are all the teams that are officially eliminated from playoff contention. At number 24, we're gonna have the Washington Football Team. At number 23, we're gonna have the Atlanta Falcons. 22, Pittsburgh, and 21, the Denver Broncos. Now all of those teams are in kind of weird spots where they have to not only win out, but even if they win out, it still might not be enough to make the playoffs. So that's why they're all kind of bunched at the bottom there. Now really in my next five teams, it's kind of difficult to rank these now because they're all kind of so close in records. Most of these are tied in records, so it's tough to say who's better than the other. But at 20, I'm going to have the Saints. At 19, I'm going to have the Raiders. 18, the Browns. 17, the Miami Dolphins. And 16, the Vikings. Now, all those teams, when they play a good game, they look pretty good. They look like a playoff caliber team. And obviously, they do sometimes have some bad games where they lose to some teams where you're like, man, what's going on? Next couple of teams, they're probably in a scenario, if they win out, they're probably going to get into the playoffs. So I have at 15, the Baltimore Ravens. At 14, the Los Angeles Chargers. And at 13, the Eagles. At 12, the 49ers. So obviously all of these teams, if they're fully healthy, they are absolutely dangerous and scary. Right, with the Baltimore Ravens, you just got to get Lamar Jackson back. For the Chargers, with Justin Herbert, you are a threat to beat any team, really. 13 with the Eagles, they have looked very good over the last 2 months of the season. And the 49ers, we know from roster from top to bottom, they have one of the most balanced rosters in the league. Now, just barely outside the top 10, I'm going to put the Cincinnati Bengals at 11. I know they had a huge victory. They're probably going to be in almost everyone else's top 10 power rankings. But to me, you beat a Baltimore Ravens team with the third-string quarterback, and I just don't think that Baltimore is that great of a roster anyways. So to me, yes, maybe the way that game played out offensively for Cincinnati, even if Lamar plays, you probably still beat them. And it would have definitely been a more impressive victory. But when you go into the game as Cincinnati and you know you're playing a backup quarterback, you can do things offensively that maybe you wouldn't normally do if you didn't know that you're going to have that much pressure on you to have to put up a bunch of points. At 10, just didn't want to drop them outside the top 10 is the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, you lost a very bad game. You're dealing with some injuries. D-Hop hopefully will be back for the playoffs. If he's not, they may be one and done come postseason time, because if they don't win the division, you're staring at a matchup with either the Dallas Cowboys or the Los Angeles Rams or the Tampa Bay Bucks. You're going to have to go into one of those three places and try to get a victory. I think if D-Hop does not play, that's going to be very difficult. At number 9, no change, the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, for this one, for me, it's really just about, is Derrick Henry going to come back in Week 18? If Derrick Henry comes back and he is healthy and he's able to go and he's not just trying to force his way back because it's, playoff time, they are the most dangerous team besides maybe the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC. Because before Derrick Henry went down, they beat everybody. They absolutely just crushed the Kansas City Chiefs. They have beaten a good Buffalo Bills team. They were unquestionably, I think, the best team in the AFC when Derrick Henry was healthy. So I think if Derrick Henry is able to come back Week 18, this is the team that I think if you're any of those top AFC teams, you absolutely do not want to play the Tennessee Titans. At number 8, another good AFC team, I'm going to have the New England Patriots. Obviously, I'm dropping them down a bunch of spots. You just lost a pretty convincing game to the Buffalo Bills. And in this game, obviously, the wind and the weather was not as much of a factor as it was the first game. And it showed Josh Allen was able to move the ball effectively. You put up 34 points against a very good New England Patriots defense, which is still number 1 in the league, by the way. So again, we'll talk about the Buffalo side in a minute. But if you're New England, that's obviously not going to be a game you're probably ever going to win with the way your roster is. You give up 30 points as a defense when you're the number 1 scoring defense in the league, you're probably going to lose most of those games. you understand you have a rookie quarterback and a young team. So that offense is very limited in what they can do. So you need to keep games low scoring to give your offense a chance. You know, give a little credit to the New England Patriots offense. When they were down 2 scores pretty much the entire second half, they had some great drives to put it together. They put some great drives together to make it a 1-score game, but then again, their defense just wasn't able to get a stop against a very good Buffalo offense. Number 7, the Colts, really no change. You got a big win against the Arizona Cardinals. It's very difficult to crack this top 5 or 6. At number 6, no change again. I'm going to have the Dallas Cowboys. And although I can kind of make an argument for them to be in the top 5, I just think that if you're looking at the roster from top to bottom of the next 5 teams, I think those rosters are probably a little better. And we'll start that off at number 5 with the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, if you're the Bills, they had a tough stretch, 4 or 5 weeks ago where they had lost a couple games. And, a lot of people were kind of questioning, like, hey, are they really that good of a team? They're very hot and cold. But again, if you look at their statistics, they're like top 5 in offense, top 2, 3, or 4 in defense. So, they still have the numbers of a great team. Obviously, this is probably their best win since the Kansas City Chiefs against the New England Patriots on the road. And again, that's a very big win because now it gives them an opportunity to win the division. I think if you're the Kansas City Chiefs and you're asked what's the scariest team come postseason time in the AFC, you may say it's Buffalo, because Buffalo is the one team, I think, offensively that that they could put up 40-plus points against your defense and give your offense, maybe not a scare, but it puts a lot of pressure on your offense if you're Kansas City, knowing that you have to score 40 or you could lose the ball game. At number 4, we're going to go with the Bucs. Bounce back after having a horrible game against the New Orleans Saints. And you come back against a bad Panthers team, you get a big victory. That's, Dallas, Tampa, or the Rams. You're just hoping that Green Bay stumbles down the stretch and maybe loses a game, and maybe you have a chance to win based off tiebreakers and stuff like that. At number 3, I'm going to have the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, how many teams do you know where your starting quarterback can play a really bad game and throw 3 interceptions, but you're probably, if you look at the game itself, dominated the game from start to finish against a very good Vikings team? Not many teams, and obviously that is concerning when your quarterback is struggling. He actually has not played well if you look at the last 2 months of the season, and going into the postseason, that's not a good sign. Now, obviously, just the way the postseason works, it's a 1-game playoff, so if he can get right these next 2 weeks and go into the playoffs and play good during the playoffs, they are the scariest team, I think, in the NFL. They have a defense with a bunch of superstar players that they can change the game at any moment's notice with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. Their offense is very good as a unit. And to me, although they're not number 1 in my power rankings, I still think that I'm still holding my prediction that the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. Haven't really changed on that. I think obviously they're capable to go into Green Bay and get a victory, and we'll have to see come postseason time, but I still think their roster from top to bottom is probably the best in the league. At 2, we're going to have the Kansas City Chiefs, and this is just obviously over the last 2 months. They have played better than literally every other team. They are the number 1 scoring offense over the last 2 months, and they're the number 2 scoring defense over the last 2 months. So again, you put those together, they're now a team that we thought they were going to be when the season started. They're probably going to get the 1 seed, which again, 5-6 weeks in the season, you would have never thought that. But with getting the 1 seed, it's going to go through Kansas City in the AFC. It's going to be a tough place to go into to try to get a victory. And my number 1 team probably hasn't changed for about 2.5 months now. Still going to be the Green Bay Packers. Again, when you have a quarterback who has 4 interceptions on the season, and he threw 2 of them in the opening game of the season, that's pretty ridiculous when you think about it. And to me, come postseason time, if your quarterback does not turn the ball over, and your defense, which has not played well over the last couple weeks, you also have played some better offenses. The defense does have some playmakers, so again, you're able to get some stops. Your offense is still elite. Although I picked the Los Angeles Rams to win the Super Bowl before the season started, Green Bay probably scares me the most in terms of a team that I realistically think could knock off the Rams. So that's going to do it for the power rankings for this week. Obviously, next week, there's only about 2 weeks left in the season, but I'm really looking forward to recapping my predictions video for the season and seeing how many teams I got right and also how many teams I got wrong, and also giving you my predictions, maybe updating them based off of the teams that actually made the playoffs. But that's going to do it for the video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe if you're not subscribed, as both of those help out the channel. But that's it for the video, and I look forward to updating you next week as well. Bye.